Yeah. Rotate. All right, so we are ready. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. You can just sit down. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki Om Agyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastite Chana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Visabhutale Prabhupada Priya Shri Girirajaya Swamini Suvaktra Shastra Vigyaya Ditasadna Shalini Radharas Bihadibhyam Bhakti Vyas-Chatmadayini Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Visabhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Mukham Karoti Vachalam Panghum Nagayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurudena Taranam. Hare Krishna. So welcome back. So last week the two of you were not here and everybody else was here, so I don't know where we are. Right, come in front. So, come in front. You can come there. So, we are reading 10 to 4, chapter 26. And so, this is King Puranjan who goes to the forest to hunt. Okay, so we covered 2 texts. I think because it was very long purport. So we covered text 7 and I think 8. Narad Muni continued to speak to King Prachinabarhishat. My dear king, any person who works according to the directions of the Vedic scriptures does not become involved in fruitive activities. Otherwise, a person who acts whimsically falls down due to false prestige. Thus, he becomes involved in the laws of nature, which are composed of the three qualities: goodness, goodness, passion, and ignorance. In this way, a living entity becomes devoid of his real intelligence and becomes perpetually lost in the cycle of birth and death. Thus, he goes up and down from a microbe in stool to a high position in the Brahmalok planet. So, these two texts actually, do you remember anything, Priya?
Yes, we spoke about Vedas.
Yeah, so can you
Like
give us a
they are
summary?
proven and tested.
Hmm?
They are proven and tested.
Yeah.
Though there may be many, according to our material intelligence, it may not appear so perfect, but they are perfect because they are proven and tested. And we have two examples: one of the stool, powder, and one more.
Yeah, conch shell.
Yes.
But the point was about
About
what was the discussion here in these two texts? What was going on there? Like King Prachinabarhishat, he got so carried away by sense gratification, right? He's a pious man, remember very well who we are dealing with, who we are describing here. Who is King Prachinabarhishat? Do you remember who he is? Who is he, this king? So many months we've been reading this. Who is he?
The son of the nine of the hundred Rishabhs.
No, he's a descendant of who? Descendant of who? Dhruva Maharaj. Remember, we have covered the entire story of Dhruva Maharaj. So, in his dynasty came this king Prachinabarhishat. Now, Dhruva Maharaj himself was an absolutely pure devotee. So, remember two things so far, whatever we've been reading: Prithu Maharaj, so Dhruva Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj in this line, right? So, we have seen how all of them are absolutely pure devotees. For the general public, they supported Varnashram Dharma. All right? Just see how the whole thing is developing. So, King Prithu Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, they are absolutely 100% pure devotees. Anya Vilashita Shunyam. All right? But their citizens were not of their standard. So, when they ruled, they showed how to practice Varnashram Dharma. But they themselves, when they retired, they engaged in pure devotional service. All right? And now this king Prachinabarhishat, he sent his sons, right? God, what do they call? His sons to practice austerity. Right? He has so many sons to practice austerity so that they can have good children and they are good grihastas. Yeah, the sons of King Prachinabarhishat. So they were the Prachetas, yeah. All right, the Prachetas. So that's them, the Prachetas. So so here let's go back in the history. So they met Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva gave them good instruction, the song of Lord Shiva, all right? We've read this. But now, so Lord Shiva is giving enlightenment to the sons. And in the meantime, Narad Muni thought that, but the father is being left behind. So this is what a preacher is all about. A preacher doesn't leave anybody. So on one side, so Lord Shiva is giving enlightenment to the sons. Narad Muni say, but what about the father? What was the issue with the father? Anybody remembers what was going on with the father?
He was doing one shooter.
Yes, he was completely engaged in karma kand. And yeah, so what was the problem with this karma kand?
He will stay in the cycle of birth and death, repeated birth.
Yes, he went overboard. While he was engaged, yes, while he became so addicted to those rituals. See, this is the danger. This is the danger. So we are speaking here of Varnashram Dharma. So I made a contrast. Dhruva Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, they were themselves absolutely pure devotees, but their citizens, they were ordinary people, so they wanted to make, these kings wanted to make their citizens dharmic. Alright, but this Varnashram Dharma has a catch in it. If you engage too much in it, then you get carried away. And then what happened? Why is Narad Muni, interfering in this whole thing?
After listening so much, everyone went back to his wife.
No, we are speaking to this. Now, when you do karma kand, what is the problem? Okay, he's doing animal sacrifice, all this. So what's the problem? What's the risk there?
In the cycle, Mataji, of birth and death, he won't get elevated at all.
Eventually, you may go against the Vedas.
Yeah. So what was actually happening? Let's get this straight. What was actually happening? He's doing the sacrifice.
He was committing sins in the name of
How? All this detail is given. That's why I'm just revising with you so that you remember. Yes?
indiscriminately just going and killing.
Yes, meaning that he was doing the sacrifice, but many times there was failure. All right? There's failure, but he got so addicted to this sacrifice. I don't know whether it was Gomedha or Ashwamedha, I don't know what he was doing. But he got so addicted to it that even when he was failing, he still continued. That's why Narad Muni said, you've gone overboard. All right? You've gone overboard. So now we have to rectify this situation. So that's why Narad Muni, speaking to the king, said, there are the directions of the Vedic scriptures. So you must follow the Vedic scriptures, right? So Vedic scripture is described as standard knowledge. All right? Meaning that we can't speculate and make our own laws. We have to go according to the knowledge given by the Vedas, and we have to accept the laws of the Vedas. And if we do not, so it's not optional. So that was the main point there. It's not optional. We must, if you don't follow, you say, it's okay, I don't, like usually, when we meet people, are you interested in Bhagavad Gita? No, I'm not interested, right? We are ourselves asking the wrong question, isn't it? We ourselves say, here's Bhagavad Gita, you must read, and it's not optional. If you do not know the laws of material nature, you will get slaughtered. All right? So this is the message that Narad Muni is giving to King Prachina Barhishat. If you do not follow, then what will happen? If you act whimsically due to false prestige. Now, this is a very, very important point. The reason why we don't accept, we don't accept defeat ourselves. We don't accept defeat. Why? False prestige. We've already been defeated. So many things have already gone wrong. Still, we don't accept defeat. Like, see the king. He was already failing, but he didn't want to admit. And that was the problem that was happening with these karma mimamsa brahmanas in the beginning of Kali Yuga. They were doing these sacrifices, they got so addicted to the animal sacrifice that even when they were failing, they refused to admit that they are failures, so the animals were just dying, right? They were just dying in the sacrifice. And finally, Gautama Buddha had to come. Came to such an extent. So here, Narad Muni came. And because King Prachibar, I can't say his name, Prachinabarhishat, meaning he's too much engaged in karma kand, that's why he got this name. I forgot his original name. He's too addicted, but he's a pious man. Therefore, Narad Muni came to him and he could accept the good instruction. But with those karma kandiya brahmanas, karma mimamsa brahmanas, right? In beginning of Kali Yuga, they wouldn't listen, they wouldn't admit, too much false prestige. So this Bhagavatam is meant, the instructions of Bhagavatam, instead of Narad Muni, is meant for those who are receptive to good instructions. Others can't, so that's why Buddha, he had to invent a religion. And so he discarded the Vedas and he made them accept him, and he propagated ahimsa paro dharmo. That was his strategy. Okay, so now let's continue. So I'm not going to go back to all this. I think we are in text 9, right? Text 9. Tatra nirbhina gatranam. Together. Tatra nirbhina gatranam chitravajashili mukhe viplavo buddhukhitanam dusaha karunatmanam. Yeah, Priya, you read? You have a book?
Translation.
Yeah.
When King Purunjana was hunting in this way, many animals within the forest lost their lives with great pain, being pierced by the sharp arrows. Upon seeing these devastating, ghastly activities performed by the king, all the people who were merciful by nature became very unhappy. Such merciful persons could not tolerate seeing all this killing. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When demoniac persons engage in animal killing, the demigod or devotees of the Lord are very much afflicted by this killing. Demoniac civilizations in this modern age maintain various types of slaughterhouses all over the world. Rascal swamis and yogis encourage foolish persons to go on eating flesh and killing animals, and at the same time continue their so-called meditation and mystical practices. All these affairs are ghastly, and a compassionate person, namely a devotee of the Lord, becomes very unhappy to see such a sight. The hunting process is also carried on in a different way, as we have already explained. Hunting women, drinking different types of liquor, becoming intoxicated, killing animals, and enjoying sex all serve as the basis of modern civilization. Vaishnavas are unhappy to see such a situation in the world, and therefore they are very busy spreading this Krishna consciousness movement.
Yeah. So here, Prabhupada said that the devotee, the demigods, meaning devotees are demigods, they are devas. So they're very much afflicted by this killing. So that's why, and you know, I mean, we've discussed this many times, so we won't go too much in detail in this, but how some so-called yogi, swami, they don't stop the people from yes, and that's why Srila Prabhupada was so unique, right? He denounced the whole thing about just go on with your life. Only you can you just what's that? Meditate and what?
Domestical practices.
Oh, I have no idea what's that. Do their meditation, do God knows what, read your Bhagavad Gita, right? It has no effect, and that's what Prabhupada is going to discuss here. That so here Prabhupada is saying that the hunting process is also carried on in a different way. Hunting women, now we already found before that, right? When King Puranjan went hunting, he went hunting for women and for animals both. So Vaishnavas are unhappy to see such a situation in the world. And that's why we are preaching. I hope all of us here we are preaching. You're preaching Priya Manjari. Huh? So you have to preach. Over your phone, you need not go, right? Huh? Yes. Over your phone, just like we are setting up now. Everybody must preach. Why? Because if you don't preach, then the society of meat eaters, sinful people increase. Very, very interesting in this section. What the instruction that Prabhupada will give now. Yeah, go on.
The devotees are pained to see the hunting and killing of animals in the forest, the wholesale slaughter of animals in the slaughterhouses, and the exploitation of young girls and girls that function under different names as clubs in society. Being very much compassionate about the killing of animals and sacrifice, the great sage Narada began his instructions to King Prachinavarnisa. In these instructions, Narada Muni explained that devotees like us are very much afflicted by all the killing that goes on in human society. Not only are saintly persons afflicted by this killing, but even God himself is afflicted and therefore comes down in the incarnation of Lord Buddha.
Yeah.
Jayadev Goswami therefore sings, Sadaya Hridaye Darshita Pashu Bhatam. Simply to stop the killing of animals, Lord Buddha compassionately appeared. Some rascals put forward the theory that an animal has no soul or is something like dead stone. In this way, they rationalize that there is no sin in animal killing. Actually, animals are not dead stone, but the killers of animals are stone hearted. Consequently, no reason or philosophy appeals to them. They continue keeping slaughterhouses and killing animals in the forest. The conclusion is that one who does not care for the instructions of saintly persons like Narada and his disciplic succession surely falls into the category of Nashta Prajna and thus goes to hell.
Yeah, so here we've already discussed this, how Lord Buddha comes. So now two things. So one is that the false prestige of the Brahmanas, the Vedic followers, the false prestige prevent them from acknowledging that their sacrifice is not working. All right. And the other one is that, what's the other philosophy? Priya, what's the other philosophy?
That the animals have no soul.
Yes.
They are just dead stone.
Yes. And I heard that some people say women also have no soul. Yeah, I heard that also. I don't know whether it's true. So like this.
So basically, whosoever they want to exploit has no soul.
Yeah. So that was the situation here. So text 10. Now this is the next two texts are very important. Shashan, together. Sashan Varahan Mahishan Gabayan Rulu Shalyakan Nidhyanam Yascha Vividhan Vignan Shrama Adyagat. Mamta Mai? Yes.
In this way, King Puranjana killed many animals, including rabbits, boars, buffalo, bison, black deer, porcupines, and other tame animals. After killing and killing, the king became very tired. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A person in the mode of ignorance commits many sinful activities. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sundar, Srila Rupa Goswami man becomes sinful out of ignorance only. The resultant effect of sinful life is suffering. Those who are not in knowledge, who commit violations of the standard laws, are subject to be punished under criminal laws. Similarly, the laws of nature are very stringent. If a child touches fire without knowing the effect, he must be burned, even though he is only a child. If a child violates the law of nature, there is no compassion. Only through ignorance does a person violate the laws of nature. And when he comes to knowledge, he does not commit any more sinful acts. The king became tired after
Yes. So now, this very short paragraph is giving something extremely important. What are the points there? Yes? Yes. So what? So why does he commit sinful activity?
out of ignorance.
Yeah, he's ignorant. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. All right. And that's how, everybody commits sinful activity and they think it's okay. What I heard, I would just, I don't know what, I was listening to some lecture, I don't know what, I don't know who was speaking about women, children and women. Say if one child does something, then Priya, we will be stuffy if you close all the doors. You put off the fan, we will be stuffy inside. She's closing everything. We will be stuffy. We close this door, we'll be suffocate inside. We'll suffocate, yeah, we can't, Yeah, everything will suffocate inside. Yeah. Oh, she's closing all the doors. She's closing all these doors. What is she doing? Here.
Let those windows be because no air is coming in. Getting stuffy.
It can bang, but at least we are hearing one another. Open here. How we'll breathe inside. I don't know whose lecture I was hearing. So it said, children, if one child does something, then, everybody does the same thing because they want to be part of it or because they don't think, right? And it's like sheep also, right? Sheep, they do this. If one jump over a cliff, then everybody else, they jump over the cliff. They don't think. So this is Kali Yuga, the age of ignorance, total ignorance. So if one person does something wrong, right, the other one, they're friends, right? And they don't check whether the person is right or wrong, whether so many people are counseling this one person, say, don't do this, right? They are just friends. And of course, the person that's saying, they're telling me, but no, very nicely, this is what we call false prestige. We commit sinful activities and we assume a position of, I'm right. It's correct, right? And then the others are speaking specifically Kali Yuga when people are not very intelligent. I'm speaking of devotees actually, who do this type of stuff. So here, Prabhupada is saying that we should know that if I commit a sinful activity, and that's what King Puranjan will do. He's a neophyte person, and he will do again sinful activity. So here, Prabhupada is saying that, from Srila Rupa Goswami, that we commit sinful activity out of ignorance only. And what is the result? Suffering. So when you say, why am I suffering? Right? Why am I suffering? Why is my child not listening to me? Right? Why this, why that? So many things. Because we do things that are wrong. I'm just giving one example. Why there's no finance This is also this is suffering. This is a result of some sinful deed. Whatever we are going through, whatever suffering we may be going through, this is the result of some sinful deed. And what does Prabhupada say about the laws of nature?
They are very stringent and
Even a child is not. Even a child
Very stringent and no.
no excuse. It is applicable for everyone.
Yeah, just see in your book what Prabhupada said.
If a child violates the laws of nature, there is no compassion.
Yes. All right.
Touching the fire.
Yes, there's no compassion with the laws of nature. I mean, that's why every parent is always running after their kid, right? Isn't it? The laws of nature, you won't say, it's a child, if she jumps through the window, I'm going to, save the child, right? It's a law of nature. So this is a physical law. Even touching the fire, it's a physical law, right? This, if a child doesn't know, you are excused, it's automatic. So similarly, emotional suffering or depriving somebody of benefits, right? All this is simply a reaction of the laws of nature. And the root cause is ignorance. Now go on.
The king became tired after killing so many animals. When a man comes in contact with a saintly person, he becomes aware of the stringent laws of nature and thus becomes a religious person. Irreligious persons are like animals, but in this Krishna consciousness movement, such persons can come to a sense of understanding things as they are and abandon the four principles of prohibited activities, namely illicit sex life, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. This is the beginning of religious life. Those who are so-called religious and indulge in these four principles of prohibited activities are pseudo-religionists. Religious life and sinful activity cannot parallel one another. If one is serious in accepting a religious life or the path of salvation, he must adhere to the four basic rules and regulations. However sinful a man may be, if he receives knowledge from the proper spiritual master and repents his past activities in a sinful life and stops them, he immediately becomes eligible to return home back to Godhead. This is made possible just by following the rules and regulations given by the Shastra and following the bona fide spiritual master.
Okay. So now come. So how can a person become religious?
When he comes in contact with a saintly person.
Yes. So all of you are saintly. All right. Yes. So meaning that whoever comes in contact with you should learn about the laws of dharma and the laws of nature. We read earlier that following the laws of dharma is not optional. Laws of dharma means the Vedic injunctions. It's not optional. You don't follow. There is the law of nature, karma. I guess in the grahas, you say like Brihaspati, like, right? I think that's Brihaspati, who puts forward, who teaches about the laws of dharma. And then there is Shani, right? Shani, Pluto, I don't know who you call. Yamaraj, right? Shani, yeah, he's standing with a stick to make sure that we follow. So these two, right? One is showing, the other is kicking. Yeah, so how sinful a man may be. So it doesn't matter if we were ignorant and we have done. What is the meaning of sinful?
Any action against the Vedic injunctions.
Yeah. Okay, all of you have read Shishu Upanishad. Prabhupada gives a definition there. What is the meaning of even before I think we have read also here. What is this sinful deeds. Yeah. Sin, what is sin? Yeah, I think you said it. What is it?
Action against the Vedic principles.
Yes. It is disobedience.
Something which
All right.
is morally wrong.
Disobedience to the laws of nature. All right? Disobedience. This is what we call sin. You know, it's a strong word. It's a very strong word. Disobedience to the laws of nature. You can put on that other fan also. Yes. So, however sinful a man may be, if he receives knowledge from the proper spiritual master. So first thing, he receives knowledge, and second thing, what does he do? He should repent. Right? He should repent. Okay, and then third? Yes. Yes. So when he received knowledge, he should repent. I didn't know, now I know. And therefore, what should he do? He should stop. Or should he still continue to do the same thing? Right? Then, the stick, the danda, right? The danda of Shani Dev will always be chasing after him. Anyway, we all have Shani behind us, right? There's no doubt about this. But anyway, I hope he's hearing us. This is made possible so he becomes immediately eligible to return home back to Godhead. And this is made possible just by following the rules and regulations given by Shastra and following the bona fide spiritual master. Okay, go on.
At present, the whole world is on the verge of retiring to a blind materialistic civilization, which may be likened to hunting animals in the forest. People should take advantage of this Krishna consciousness movement and lead the troublesome life of killing. It is said that the killers of animals should neither live nor die. If they live only to kill animals and enjoy women, life is not very prosperous. And as soon as the killer dies, he enters a cycle of birth and death in a lower species of life. This also is not desirable. The conclusion is that killers should retire from the killing business and take to this Krishna consciousness movement to make life perfect. The confused, frustrated man cannot get relief by committing suicide, because suicide will simply lead him to take birth in the lower species of life or to remain a ghost, unable to attain a gross material body. Therefore, the perfect course is to retire altogether from sinful activities and take up Krishna consciousness. In this way, one can become completely perfect and go back to God.
Okay, now what happens to animal killers? What is their destination? Animal killers.
If they live, they continue to commit sinful activities like enjoying women and killing animals. So their life is not prosperous anyways. And if they die, then they go into the lower species or they remain as ghosts.
They should neither live nor die.
No, I'm saying animal killers, what is their destination after death?
In the lower species of
They go in the lower species. You and I, we are also in the cycle of birth and death, all right? So, whether you're pious or impious, everybody is in the cycle of birth and death. The animal killers, specifically, where do they go?
Lower species.
They go to the lower species of life because they have killed so many animals. They themselves must take birth as those species and be killed, right? And then Srila Prabhupada speaks about, okay, here we are frustrated in this world, we are confused. So some people are so frustrated and confused, what do?
take their own life.
They commit suicide, and what is their destination after suicide?
Lower species of life will become a ghost.
Yes, meaning they also become animals or they become ghosts. right? That's how you have the black cat, right? God knows what. You've become very scared of some animals, right? You can see they're ghosts. These are animals that have committed suicide.
The black cats.
Yeah, anyway, I don't know. Well, not all black cats, but some some green eyes. Woof. Very scary, right? So here, who are they? Right? They're ghosts. So we should know.
Some of them are in building, some of them feed them. Different to them.
Yeah, anyway, I'm just saying this, I don't know, but not every black cat is a, but anyway, definitely to become an animal means, see, if a devotee is compassionate, then they are lucky. They are devotees who have become cats, right? This is also true. There are many cats in Hare Krishna land. Many cats.
So, Mataji, what is the reason that devotees can get lower species?
We just
They break any of the regulatory
we've heard here. Oh, we don't know what they do. They commit some sinful activities, but they like Jat Bharat, right? He became a deer, and he was in the association of devotees. Even we've heard the story of dogs who were just wandering. They came across the Sankirtan party, Padiyatra. You know, they just joined the devotees. They are not, they're devotees actually. Something went wrong in their life.
Mataji, that one wrong washes out all the right that they have done.
No, no, no. Yeah, see that we just read now that the laws of nature is so stringent, there is no compassion. All right. So meaning you get the result. You get the because there is some reason behind it, something that we have to learn, right? So it's very stringent and very violent, right? Very violent. So we take birth in lower species, but you know, I just heard a lecture Prabhupada saying that how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he preached, right, even to the animals. When the animals took, were dancing, then he says, of course he's God. Prabhupada said, of course he's God. And then Prabhupada said, but even in the forests of Africa, there are people who are like so-called uncivilized. They are like naked, but they are also participating in the Sankirtan movement. They are also chanting and dancing. You know? So, how is it, Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, right? How is it that this Harinam could reach them? You know? So there must be something that they get prasadam. There must be something, you know. So I mean, that's why it's very dangerous to live in this material world. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham. You don't know when you may slip and where you may land up. Anyway, we are weak, right? We are weak, but even if we make mistakes here, Prabhupada is saying that even if we make mistake and we commit sinful activities, we should repent and we should stop. Right? Okay, text 11. Tata kshutrit parikshanto nivrito griham elivan hara samvivesha gata klamaha. Smita?
After this, the king, very much fatigued, hungry, and thirsty, returned to his royal palace. After returning, he took a bath and had an appropriate dinner. Then he took rest and thus became freed from all restlessness.
Okay, now remember that this whole story is an analogy to describe the activities of the conditioned soul who is more or less pious but suddenly become impious and does sinful activities. He will go back and forth, you know. So he's pious and then he commits sinful activity, then he comes to his senses. Oh, okay, what am I doing? Okay, and then again he does something else. So this is how we can keep on vacillating, you know, between pious, impiety and piety, you know. This is called anisthita. Anisthita, no fixedness. Well, we can identify with this. Yeah, read.
A materialistic person works throughout the whole week very, very hard. He is always asking, where is money, where is money? Then, at the end of the week, he wants to retire from these activities and go to some secluded place to rest. King Puranjana returned to his home because he was very much fatigued from hunting animals in the forest. In this way, his conscience came to stop him from committing further sinful activities and make him return home. In the Bhagavad Gita, materialistic persons are described as Dushkritinaha, which indicates those who are always engaged in sinful activities. When a person comes to his senses and understands how he is engaging in sinful activities, he returns to his conscience, which is here figuratively described as the palace. Generally, a materialistic person is infected by the material modes of passion and ignorance. The result of passion and ignorance are lust and greed. In the life of a materialistic, activity means working in lust and greed. However, when he comes to his senses, he wants to retire. According to Vedic civilization, such retirement is positively recommended, and this portion of life is called Vanaprastha. Retirement is absolutely necessary for a materialistic who wants to become free from the activities of a sinful life.
Okay, now what is this conscience? So he went out, he did so many things, now he's tired, hungry and thirsty. He returned to his royal palace. What is this royal palace?
Coming to senses, basically.
Yeah, he came to his senses, and what prompted him to come to his senses?
Then we become frustrated. Tired.
No, read. You can't miss that. What prompted him to come to his senses? His conscience. All right, his conscience. All of us, we have conscience. We do something and then we have. What is that conscience that eats us up? Right?
Yes.
Conscience. So he's done so many sinful activities, and this conscience is eating him up. According to you, what is that conscience?
That is super soul.
Yes. Yes, I think we read about that earlier. Right? The super soul. That's the conscience. So this is the makeup of this body. The super soul is also along with us, giving intelligence. So his senses is away. So now, we can like appreciate here, animals do sinful activities. Do they have a conscience? Do they come to their senses?
No, they don't.
No.
Because they're made that way.
They are animals. All right. Actually, they
They are
are.
acting according to the law of nature only. Like
For the body that they have got, no?
they are meant to
Meaning
be
that they don't have a higher consciousness, that body is only given to suffer and finish your empire of consciousness. When you elevate according to the only human body, you have that consciousness to elevate.
Yeah. So, I was just appreciating That's why the human body is sudurlabha. All right? Rare human birth. Right? And specifically meaning that the consciousness is awakened. In animal life, consciousness is lower. It's like, and as it goes lower and lower, it goes more and more dormant. We read earlier that, like in stone, practically the conscience is dormant, completely dormant. So depending on what type of animal you are, the consciousness is to that degree awakened. But in human life, the consciousness is sufficiently awakened. So being like a pious person, a religious man, when he did sinful activities, so he's sufficiently conscious, and therefore the voice of his conscience could prick him, right? Right. Super soul cannot speak to the dog, right? Of course, if there's something, whatever he's meant to suffer, he will suffer. But here, that's why we say human life is life of responsibility. Right? Life of responsibility. And if we are irresponsible, then the reaction is no compassion, automatic, just like you jump off the window, laws of nature act. Similarly, if we deliberately break a rule of dharma, 100% the law of karma is following us. 100%. Yeah, so what he got tired of all this. So Prabhupada is saying that this man, he's worked so much in the mode of passion, accumulating money, and then he's tired. He said, okay, enough. And then what does he want to do? Retire. And this is what Prabhupada is saying, that vanaprasth. Retirement is absolutely necessary for a materialist who wants to become free from the activities of a sinful life. Okay, who was reading?
King Ranjana's coming home, taking bath and having an appropriate dinner indicates that a materialistic person must retire from sinful activities and become purified by accepting a spiritual master and hearing from him about the value of life. If one would do this, he would feel completely refreshed, just as one feels after taking a bath. After receiving initiation from a bona fide spiritual master, one must abandon all kinds of sinful activities, namely illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating. The word uchitaraha used in the verse is important. Uchita means appropriate. One must eat appropriately and not take after food as hogs take after stew. For a human being, there are eatables described in Bhagavad Gita as 17.8, Satvika Ahara, or food in the mode of goodness. One should not indulge in eating food in the modes of passion and ignorance. This is called Uchitahara, or appropriate eating. One who is always eating meat or drinking liquor, which is eating and drinking in passion and ignorance, must beat these things up so that his real consciousness may be awakened.
Yes, okay, now we have seen, so he came, so what is this analogy here that he took bath and had an appropriate dinner? What's all this?
So you must retire from sinful activities and become purified.
How?
By accepting a spiritual master and learning from
Hearing.
the values of
Yes, okay. I mean, this is like such a basic thing, right? That's what we're teaching our children, right? So the child should not be an animal, in other words. That's why we are taking so much trouble. Well, we want the child to be brought up properly so that he doesn't become an animal. And if he's not taught about the values of life, so that's accepting the spiritual master is like the teacher, right? So he's taught the values of life, because if he doesn't do this, what will the child do as he grows up?
Sinful activity.
Sinful activity without hesitation, and that's what's happening with our youth today, right? Without hesitation, they break all the regulatory principles, right? These are the sinful activities. Even if they're coming from good families, they still they break these regulatory principles. Why? Why do they break the regulatory principles?
There are no values of life.
Because they're driven by passion and ignorance and lust and
What's-
the lust and greed.
What is the root? We read earlier, ignorance. They don't know. They don't know. So they don't know. Yes, ignorance. They don't know. And nobody's telling them. Right? So that's why Prabhupada is telling us and showing us through this chapter here, through this section here, the consequence of.
When you come to know, you should repent and stop this.
Yeah, so the child, before he even does it, he should be told. Right? Yeah, go on.
So one who is always eating meat or drinking liquor, which is eating and drinking in passion and ignorance, must give these things up, so that his real consciousness may be awakened. In this way, one may become peaceful and refreshed. If one is restless or fatigued, one cannot understand the science of God. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.20, Evam prasanna manaso bhagavan bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vishnanam mukta sangrasya jayate. Unless one can become free from the influence of passion and ignorance, he cannot be pacified. And without being pacified, one cannot understand the science of God. King Puranjana's returning home is indicative of a man returning to his original consciousness, known as Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is absolutely necessary for one who has committed a lot of sinful activities, especially killing animals or hunting in the forest.
Okay, so here, so one of the items about taking the bath, I mean the process of purification. So what is another most important item in the process of purification? Yes, what you eat. All right? Sadvika ahar. Appropriate eating. So, the whole purpose is that unless and until we give up all these sinful activities, our real consciousness cannot be awakened. It cannot be awakened. In this way, one may become peaceful and refreshed. Right? Peaceful and refreshed. If one is restless and fatigued, one cannot understand the science of God, because he's always on the go. He got other things to do. You're giving him a Bhagavad Gita, he got something else to do. He's not going to take it. He's not going to listen to you. Right? Calm, Rajogun, calm. So unless one can become free from the influence of passion and ignorance, he cannot be pacified. And without being pacified, one cannot understand the science of God. Okay, so any question? Sorry? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, they are not listening. You mean human beings who are demoniac, right? Yeah, they are not listening.
In any case, the super soul doesn't speak to those who doesn't want to act according to.
No, the super soul is our best friend. The super soul is always telling us, whoever you may be. Yes, yeah, super soul is going even wherever you are going. Actually, he takes you wherever you want to go. Super soul is always speaking, to human at least. And super soul, I guess, in animal life is just guiding their life, because they are destined to live a certain period of time. How is it that they don't die? I mean, this nature is so harsh. You know, I always wonder how the birds survive season after season, right? Because they're locked by the laws of karma to be in that particular body. They have to suffer this, and they don't die until their time comes up. Otherwise, you know, immediately every rainy season all the birds will die, right? It's amazing. The laws of karma are such. Even with us also, we wish, oh, let me die, right? But most people don't commit suicide, isn't it? However much we suffer, we don't commit suicide. It's only somebody who's really nuts, right? They commit suicide. Otherwise, everybody will commit suicide. So the fear of death is one element. When we are born in this, that's what locks us in the body, fear of death. So we don't commit suicide, fear of death. So of course there is a plan behind each and everything. It's very complex. So the lock, as we are saying in the cage, is fear of death. So even though you are not the body, your soul, you want to escape, right? People now, they escape from their homes, right? They break relationships. And before, by the law of dharma, they will remain within their family unit or their work also. But now there's no ethics, right? The laws of dharma will keep people within their family setup, within their society, within their work. And people were faithful. Now because there's no consideration of the law of dharma, so they are restless. I just heard one person was explaining, he said that about why is it there's so much divorce these days. He said, just like you have a mobile, it doesn't work, you throw it and take another one. Say, at least for me, you repair, you don't just throw. But the generation now is like, the time is that, okay, it's not working, just discard it, take another one. So you discard your relationships also, right? But actually all this is what was keeping us locked in a family. And because we have that conscience, that conscience meaning that obedient, we know that I cannot break that law. So I stay there, and therefore I progress. I make spiritual progress. But if I just, walk out, then it's very dangerous. I'm speaking like the birds, they can't escape. Similarly, the human beings who are more evolved, they try to escape. I'm speaking of the emotional and the social boundaries. Of course, an intelligent man, if it's too hot in one place, he says, let me find a way to counteract, right? This is the use of intelligence. But at some point you have to accept it's just hot and you can't do anything about it. You have to tolerate, right? Yeah. Yes, Priya?
I just remember this example quoted somewhere. It's like a bird in a cage. By
Mm.
mistake, the cage is open and the bird flies. But she's so addicted to coming inside and being locked that even after setting herself free again and again, she comes back to bed.
Yeah.
That's a disease.
Hmm?
That's a disease.
Yes, yeah, yeah. We are addicted to being in the body. That even though the door is open, we can come out. We don't walk through. We are happy to be inside, and that's the case here with King Prachibar Hishat. He's having a human birth. He's taken birth in a high parentage in the family of Dhruva, and he can come out from the cycle of birth and death, but he was doing karma kandya, right? Which maybe you will go up to Swarga, but you have to come back. So what's the use? All right. Okay, so thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So please read. Continue reading. Actually, there is. I wanted to finish, but it takes too much time to complete the chapter. So I'm just going slowly, but it's quite short. Very well.